Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Great. I'm so excited to be here. So I have a question for all of you. Have you ever been single before? Have you ever even thought of that question? I want you to think about singlehood not as a relationship status, but one that really empowers you to look at the creative, unique, really single power that you have as a human being. We really want us to dial into your strength, your courage, everything that you have to offer this world. I want to tell you a little story about a woman sitting in a bar by herself eating breakfast. What are your initial thoughts about her? Is it intrigue? Is it mystery? Maybe it's pity. Maybe you're thinking she's lonely, depressed, sad. Well, that girl was depressed, sad, and lonely. That girl was me 10 years ago, struggling with severe depression, along with the stigma of really what singlehood was. It really left me with feelings of shame and insignificance and wondering, hey, if I could just kick this depression and get hitched, I'd actually be okay. I started really thinking about ways to make myself feel better, and often I started getting really successful at things. That was my way of dealing with it. Looking at things that I could do to excel at. I was an all-American athlete. I started my own business. I just continued to be successful, but go figure, my depression, my loneliness grew. It became exhausting. Loneliness just began to suffocate me. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but loneliness is becoming a huge epidemic. Many of us know that mental wellness issues are on the rise. And the great news is that there's an amazing platform now for advocacy, knowledge, support, and healing in this area. But what you may not know is that loneliness is considered a major contributing factor, and that loneliness in of itself is considered an epidemic. So just think about that. There's so many things that we have to look at with loneliness, okay? Just think about who you are and where you want to be. A survey done on 20,000 American adults found that more than half of them were experiencing loneliness. And actually the young were the ones that were taking the brunt of the pain. About 49% ages 16 to 24 versus 29% ages 65 to 75. And of those half that were lonely, 60% of them were actually married or in long-term relationships. So this idea that singlehood or the elderly population were the ones that were really lonely wasn't even true. But no matter the age or the relationship status, loneliness is considered to have a health risk factor of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Is that not crazy? But let's look more closely at this survey and what they were saying. 54% actually said that no one really knew them. Isn't that crazy? 46% said that the people they connected themselves with didn't really know them well and were really not with them. 40% said the relationships they were in were not meaningful, that they didn't really have any deep intimacy with them. There's no meaning behind them. How can we say this? Isn't that crazy? How can we feel this in this world where we are more externally connected than ever, right? Could we blame social media? Maybe. Technology? Could we blame our busier lives, our must-to-do list? Yes, maybe we could. Or could we blame ourselves? The truth. Let's go back to what they said. No one really knows you? Do you even know yourself? No one is really connected to you, isn't really with you? Are you even connected to yourself? Are you your own cheerleader? You're not having any meaningful relationships? No real intimacy with people? Are you even intimate with yourself? How can we have authentic relationships with people, places, and our community when we're not even intimate and connected to ourselves and authentic to ourselves? Let's go back. Let's take our power back that we've given away to people, places, and things we don't even really care about, if you really think about it. Things that aren't even real. If you're not having real relationships with yourself, or just step back, are you really even being real with yourself? let's go back to your rock star life. How amazing each of you are with your unique gifts and what you can do to use those gifts to impact the world. For many years, I was not being real with myself. I created this fake life with my depression and loneliness. And that fake life led me to really start stepping back and going, why am I dealing with this? And you know what I found out? It had nothing to do with me being alone. It had everything to do with me giving away my power to people out of guilt, out of comparison, out of the need to belong, out of keeping up with the Joneses, right? The list could go on and on. I really want you guys to get this. When I started realizing that my loneliness and depression was not about being alone, and that actually my singlehood was my superpower. My superpower, it had nothing to do with my relationship status. And I want you to get this. It has nothing to do with yours. That when you really dial in to your single, unique purpose, your superpower, watch the magic fly. That's a beautiful thing. Always remember that superpower is there. So how do we get our power back? Our single, really power back. You feel like you've been lost in it. Well, I have 3 things that I want to share with you today to help you start living that life, that single power that you've always experienced. 1, be yourself. Know your story. What is your story? Write it down from start to finish, your first memory to now. Really dial it in. Now, many of you may think that my story is kind of boring. I'm telling you, honey, it's not boring. There's a lot of color to your life. And guess what? This is where your gifts really show up. I remember when I started writing down my story, I didn't realize really what my gifts were. I at least didn't appreciate them. When I started writing it down, I started realizing the cool things I had to offer, and I got really excited, okay? Number 2, create intimacy with yourself. This requires you to really dig deeper into your story, the deepest part of you, the scars, the pain, the failures, the regret. This is where your meat of your story is. This is where you can connect with people on a deeper level, okay? When I started really looking at my failures and my struggles, I realized my failures were a way to connect with people and really see them on a different level. I became relatable. My regrets allowed me to really connect with people as well with their issues because we had similar issues. Another way to connect, okay? It's a way of going back to people. And guess what? This is where your passions and purpose show up. This is also where your pains, your scars, things that really hurt you show up. But this is where you can dig deeper in your passion and purpose, okay? Your passion and purpose is connected to your pain and your scars. We see it all the time. Remember your passions and purpose, your scars. It's your soul purpose, the reason why you're here on this earth. The way that you want to connect with people. That's where we want to be. That's where we always want to go. And when you really get that, watch the magic happen. Watch it happen. 3rd, really dial into your truth. Be your own cheerleader. Okay? Put the blinders on, baby. Okay? Don't bark up someone else's tree, because trust me, yours is really awesome to climb. Okay? I really want you to get this, if nothing else. Comparison to other people's story rapes your soul. It keeps you from becoming the person that you're meant to become. It keeps you away from the power that you have in yourself. If you stay in your truth, dial into your truth. Watch again the magic happen. Your intuition grows. You know that gut instinct that says, hey, yep, that's exactly what we need to be doing? It's going to grow. Discernment is going to grow. Emotional grow. What do people think? But don't kid yourself. This is where fear and ego are going to show up, okay? It's going to happen every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Okay, you guys? Fear is going to come up. My fear of my rejection that could happen because of my struggles, if I shared with people, my need for perfection, even though I know I shouldn't have to do that, but my need because of my insecurities, they came up. You're going to have to battle this thing called the brain, okay? Battle with your truth. Battle with the understanding that, going back to the second point, Your battles, your struggles, your scars, they're exactly what's going to catapult you to the next level. Don't underestimate the power of understanding your truth, okay? When you dial into your story, your truth, your scars, you're going to connect with people in a way you never thought you could. And by the way, with any of you that are in relationships or maybe want to have one, when you're dialing into those 3 things, watch the relationship get better. Or better yet, you're going to get the one that you really want. Okay? Don't underestimate the power of doing that. If you build it, they will come. Right? Feel the dreams. When you build around your story, watch your life beautifully coming, running toward you. Really understand that. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. It's huge. Really understand the power of that. I dare you, I really dare you, just look at the creative power you have, the uniqueness of your story, and watch it come barely beautifully toward you. There's huge, huge magic in that. Don't underestimate it. Really, really think about this. There's one of you that will only ever cross the earth again. One of you with your only genetic blueprint that will ever come across this earth again. I am an identical twin, and I know that. I realize that, okay? You have an opportunity that's here. Don't waste it. Don't let someone else hijack your life. Don't play Russian roulette with your life. Take responsibility for the one life you have and just use your gifts, okay? Because the world needs your gifts, your vision, your purpose, and yes, your pain, your scars, your beautiful, beautiful scars. Remember that. So, I go back to my original question. Have you ever been single before? I mean, really singly, epically you. I don't know if those 2 words are actually real in the dictionary, but we're going to use them anyway. Have you ever been singly, epically you and understood the power of that? No matter your relationship status, own that. So let's go back to the girl at the bar. You know, I actually came to a point when I was sitting single at that bar, when I realized my power. And when I went back to that power and understanding who I was, everything changed. Everything changed. No matter if you're in a relationship or not, understanding your power, your story, your scars, your truth, it will create more momentum in your life, in every area of your life, than you ever thought possible. So I was at one of my favorite restaurants a few weeks back, having breakfast again by myself, and I was just having a great day. And as I was about to leave, the bartender said to me, "You actually have a good Samaritan in the house. There's someone that would wish to remain anonymous but would like to pay for your meal." I don't know where all of you are at. I don't know what your story is, but I encourage you, the next time you see someone sitting at the bar by themselves eating, that you look past the ring finger. And instead, I challenge you to do the exact same, to be able to sit down by yourself, your beautiful self, and watch your power come back to you. And maybe, just maybe, you might get your meal paid for as well. Thank you so much. Mwah.